how's it going? Don't worry, I'm not going to replace the PS4 for the PS5. No, trust me, I'm not like other people.
Kids! I hate them! They're so annoying to deal with! But then I remembered I was one too, and one thing that I was always fascinated in was the world of any form of entertainment. This goes for movies, toys, this crappy looking puzzle I had made out of foam plastic. But also, one thing that I really did like doing was of course going to my local newspaper store to look at those cheap comics that came bundled in with a toy and also had many ads.
However, it wasn't until I saw a specific book that got me into something that I would never want to hate. Sonic the Hedgehog.
This little guy was introduced to me by a gaming magazine while it was promoting Sonic Unleashed, and it got me curious into what this Sonic thing was.
So to look into it even further, I asked my parents at the time to see if I could have it, and they said no.
My hometown was crazy back then. It still is to this day. But I was not allowed to have the Sonic Unleashed magazine because of one problem.
It was promoting adult video games alongside it.
I'm talking GTA, Mortal Kombat, Hitman, you name it. But this wasn't the end, oh no.
Sometime after that, my mom ended up buying a laptop. A Windows 7 to be more specific. And this thing had something called games already installed. And for the most part, I was glued to this thing.
I remember the games on this thing being two variants of Solitaire and Minesweeper. But one that I always loved to play was one Purple Place. A cute and colorful game that had you make cakes, create your own abomination, and a matchmaking game. I used to have tons of fun with this game collection non-stop. But that was until one day where I went to my local supermarket and I saw it there. Sonic Heroes for the PC. What's this? This is the same guy I saw in that very same magazine, only with less fur. Who's the yellow and red guy?
I already made a video talking about this game into detail, so to cut things short, I never played it.
I mean, I did install the game, I just never played it for two reasons.
I have a key and I have a board. Now what?
And most of the time, the game was like this.
How did I ever play this?
Then on December 25th, 2008, I was blessed with my very own copy of Sonic Unleashed. It wasn't for the laptop. However, just a few years before that, in 2005, I was gifted a black thin box. Thanks, Santa! This is a video game console. A device that allows you to play games at your home on the TV. And this was the first. The PlayStation 2. God, such a small thing could do so much. It wasn't just to play games, but you could also play DVDs on this thing. I never really watched movies on this thing, but I do remember playing a few games on this thing. The oldest that I remember besides Sonic Unleashed was Happy Feet, Cars the video game, Stuart Little 3, Ice Age 2, Ben 10 Protector of Earth, Lego Star Wars, Spider-Man Friend or Foe. Oh, the classics! I remember not leaving this console no matter what. I had a birthday to be at. I said I was too busy. 8-year-old me was too busy playing Ice Age in his room. Fuck you, little Timmy.
Since then, the PS2 has always been my go-to form of entertainment.
That was until Christmas of 2009 when my uncle gifted me a Nintendo Wii.
I can own two of them at the same time?
Now, the PS2 was my introduction into video games, but the Wii introduced me into the world of gaming. I received this bad boy with a copy of Wii Sports, and that's it.
That's all I needed. The fact that I had to keep moving the controller in order to play the game with its all-new motion controls at the time, boy was I excited. This was also my introduction to the Mario franchise and Nintendo as a whole.
My first few Wii titles were of course a small collection that included Wii Sports, as I said, Mario Kart Wii, Club Penguin, Endless Ocean, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Sonic and the Secret Rings. God, that game controls like ass. But what didn't control like ass was a game that I'll always cherish from the Wii, and that is Super Mario Galaxy. I don't know what it was, but I constantly played this game on the Wii. I never finished it back then when I was a kid. I still wasn't a Nintendo fan at the time. But the musics, the cutscenes, the gameplay, this game just stood out to me. I I eventually started getting more games for this system, and I have yet to fully play some of them. But that wasn't the only Nintendo system I owned back then. I also had the Nintendo DS Lite system.
Now that one was a blast to play with.
A variety of games available for you to play while on the go was just mind-blowing for me. The consoles I owned had you sit in your house, while the DS could be played while I was outside.
I mean, who needs to socialize when you got the DS? It literally stands for don't socialize.
A lot of smaller, less well-known games is what I had at the time, like this Dolphin Island game, which has you take care of sea life animals. Mario Bros. For the DS, Transformers, Surf's Up, Nintendogs, Spider-Man 2, and The Simpsons game. God, growing up with these games was so much fun! I used to have a small Simpsons DS bag to put all my games and the system inside while I was out. After that, I sort of just stuck with these three. I didn't think I'd ever need another console in my life after the games and the systems that I own. Son of a bitch.
The Xbox 360 came out in 2005, but I didn't really own one until Sonic Generations came out, which was in 2011.
I wasn't the type of kid to get consoles at launch. Instead, I was the type to just wait until something came out for a system that I didn't have.
So when Sonic Generations finally came out, you know I had to get myself an Xbox 360. You'd think that the option for me to go for would be the PlayStation 3, since I already owned the PlayStation 2. But I guess I wanted to explore different brands.
So on Christmas of 2011, I got a copy of Sonic Generations and an Xbox 360. Probably the only system that I own that has the least number of games. Besides owning Unleashed again, this time for this system, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Freeriders, I didn't have a lot of games to go for. My cousin gifted me Lego Indiana Jones for the platform, and I liked it. I ended up buying Minecraft for it. I never touched it. Disney Infinity! I originally bought it for the Wii, and it was faulty, so I took it back and I just bought the Xbox version. I only paid £5 for it since I already paid them the other amount for the Wii version. Probably the only games I fully finished its campaign is going to be Call of Duty World at War and GTA 5. Two games that I never thought I'd see myself playing. Did I enjoy them? I mean, I do enjoy violence, but I still gotta try this. Around the same time as I had the Xbox 360, I had the Nintendo 3DS XL. What is it? It's the original DS, but now in 3D! I remember asking my mom for a 3DS, because just before that, my original DS broke. Yep, that thing went from this to this. I don't know how that DS still worked after being snapped in half, and I also don't remember exactly how it broke. I remember it being in my granny's old drawers for most of the time.
But it was imminent. I had to get myself the 3DS system, and best of all, I didn't need the original DS. That was because the 3DS can actually run backwards compatibility with the original DS games. Now my 3DS joystick is broken. Hey, Ma?
I had a good stack for the 3DS, mainly being Mario and Sonic titles, but I also had some Pokemon games that I used to play over at school a few times. Pilot Wings Resort, Luigi's Mansion 2, Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Mainly it was Smash Bros. That I played most in school.
Now about a year after I had the Xbox 360, my mom decided to show up to the house with a PlayStation 3 Slim. This wasn't recently bought. This was gifted by a friend who didn't want it anymore, so I have it now. I just got a PS3 Slim for free and I'm not complaining about it.
I ended up with some games for the system, but I never played them except for one, which I bought. Deadpool. I played the game, I finished the game's story, and there it is, just chilling in the corner with the unplayed.
Now that it's the same year of 2012, the Wii U was launched. And let me tell you, this was my favorite Nintendo console.
Backwards compatibility with the original Wii games, meaning that I get to play the older games on a better console? Plus, look at the size of this thing! Over time, the Wii U was slowly dying out as it became one of Nintendo's worst-selling consoles at the time. It had great games, but it's not like the console was also doing well.
Several updates had to be released for this system, including a day one patch that allowed the load times to go faster. This never really bothered me at the end of the day, and to be honest, I was just happy that I get to play my old Wii games on my new Wii system.
I guess I had these guys hang out too. Nintendo Land was a bundled game with the console, and I liked it a lot at the end of the day. But then we had Splatoon, the Lego Movie video game, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, a few Mario games, Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and mostly Sonic games. This may have been a weak console, but for the game collection that I own, although most of the games became mid over time, I had a good time with this console. Especially with Mario Maker. Rest in peace, the Mario Maker servers.
It's not all doom and gloom though, because the Wii U is what introduced me into the world of online game stores.
Welcome to the Nintendo eShop. What does the E stand for? I don't know. I only bought one game off of this thing, and it was Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games. It was fun for a few hours, and I quickly got bored of it. I'm never gonna get my £30 back, right?
Have no fear, because everything from this point onwards would bring me nothing but a lot of joy.
Skip ahead to 2016, and several games were being revealed for a platform known as the NX. Games like Sonic Forces, which was originally known as Project Sonic 2017.
Oh my god, a new Sonic game on a system that has yet to be fully revealed. This has gotta be a day one purchase.
This is the Nintendo Switch, and it's the latest in Nintendo's console catalog. Okay, this is indeed my new favorite console. It has the ability of every other console and the portable consoles.
How was this achieved? What sorcery was used upon thee?
The Switch is capable of running main home console releases on the go, meaning if you wanted to play Skyrim while you're outdoors, you can if you wanted to. You want to play GTA but you're not at home? No problem, the Switch has got you covered. I wouldn't recommend it though, I heard it's bad. With this knowledge, I already knew that this console was a must-buy day one. And so, at the launch date of the system, I went to go buy it. It didn't have any games I liked at the time.
Only 2 physical games released in my area physically on the same day as the Nintendo Switch. 1 to Switch and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I bought them both because I'm a masochist when it comes to buying games that I barely play.
The Switch had a Nintendo eShop, however the games that were available were mostly indie titles. Thumper, a rhythm-based game that has you control a beetle. I played it for a bit, and there it is now uninstalled. After a few months, select games that I was really looking forward to release finally came out. Super Mario Odyssey, Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Bendy and the Ink Machine. Finally, I was at peace with gaming.
It wouldn't be until December of 2019 where I went out to go buy myself a PlayStation 4 and a VR headset to play Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted that very same Christmas.
Then, Steelwool Studios, the current developers of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, announced that a flat mode was coming to their recent Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Well, that was just horrible timing, I guess.
I had a great time with this console. I went back to my roots of not buying a console at launch, since most of the games that came out for that system I already had on the Switch. But alas, a PS4 was now in my possession. I did use up the VR quite a lot actually, but over time, I slowly started to use it less and less since it kept giving me motion sickness. This clearly didn't get to me since on Christmas of 2022, I was gifted a Meta Quest 2. I have 2 games on that thing, but I will not play one of them due to constant lag. Surgeon Simulator VR will not work, and the other game that I played on this was Beat Saber. I'm done.
And now we come to Christmas of 2023, where I was gifted some filming equipment to help make videos better, but something fell off.
My mom had an extra gift just waiting for me from right around the corner. Something that I never expected. I got a phone stand. And I was happy with it. I don't use it since I got different stands already, including my phone case that can hold a balance, so she uses it instead. But what I did get from many family members were of course a bunch of gift cards and cash. On that same day, I decided to round up the total amount of both cash and gift cards, and I did it! I reached my goal! So I looked at my calendar and said,
it's my non-annual console purchase year.
And just 2 days after Christmas, I walked out of the game store with a PlayStation 5. Slim. Despite it coming out in 2020. I picked up a few games that I've yet to still try out, and that's where I'm at with video game consoles. Overall, if I have to pick a favorite, that's gotta go to the Switch. A console that can run games both at home on your TV and on the go outdoors is nice. Although, the PS5 is starting to grow on me. Getting to see this generation of video games looking really good in 4K and higher is such a sight.
Now that I've gone through every single console that I played with, I think it's time that I ask myself, what would be the perfect console? I want to see a console that has the graphics power of a PS5 and of a PC. A controller similar to the Xbox because I hate it when the left analog stick is on the bottom and not on the top. The mobility of the Nintendo Switch, because God, I want to play this on the toilet without having to take any breaks and not pausing any of the games. Non-VR games would be great, but hey, do include some VR games as an option. Don't bring back the Kinect! And there you go, I just created a thermonuclear bomb!